Am I audible?
Yes, Chandan, you are clearly audible.
Okay. Can you start, Amita?
Yes, you can start.
Good morning and very warm welcome to National Webinar on Research Methodology and Intellectual Property Rights, organized by Research and Development Cell in association with IQAC, Banwarilal Bhalotia College, Asansol. On behalf of Research and Development Cell of our college, I, Dr. Chandana Singho, would like to thank all the participants for joining this webinar. I heartily welcome our two resource person, Dr. Abhijit Mitra sir, who is the Associate Professor and former Head of Marine Science, University of Calcutta, and Dr. Premnath sir, who was former Examiner of Patents and Designs and Assistant Controller of Patents and Designs at the Patent Office, Kolkata. And currently he is working in the capacity of Associate Professor at Computer Science and Engineering Department, HNB Garhwal University, Uttarakhand. We shall be honored to have both of you with us and will be enriched by your eloquence and profundity. I extend my welcome to all faculty members, non-teaching staffs, students, research scholars, and participants who all are gathered here to add the radiance to this program. Now, I would like to introduce the theme. As we all know that excellent education requires excellent research as a prerequisite, and moreover, as India strives to become a developed nation, there is a growing demand for research in humanity, art, and culture. Hence, there has been a strong impetus in the promotion of research in higher education institutions like never before, with strong support from the government. A student cannot directly jump into the research without knowing the proper way to conduct research. This is where research methodology comes into the picture. Research methodology provides students with the necessary knowledge to undertake better research in future. Once research is done, it becomes an intellectual property. Therefore, it becomes important to know about the laws that protects the creators, inventors, innovators of their intellectual property. So this webinar is designed for understanding of various research methodologies and provides a basic understanding of various research methodologies, and also to create a robust innovation and IPR culture by disbursing the relevant information on IPRS, IP filling, IP grant, or IP disposal. Now, as for an emergency, our principal sir is unable to join this webinar today. I like to request our convener of this webinar, Dr. Shubharthi Sarkar sir, to give the inaugural speech. So over to sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chandana Basu. Am I audible?
Yes, Shubharthi, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. So as you have heard from Dr. Chandana Singho that our principal sir is in an emergency. So on behalf of him, I would like to inaugurate this session. So first of all, I would like to thank all of you for taking this time to join us today. And I would like to inaugurate the webinar and hope that all of us have an enriching and enlightening session. So I would like to over the mic to Dr. Rajrupa Ghosh to introduce our resource persons and let us start the webinar. Let us have a deep engaging session. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Shubharthi. Good morning, guests, the delegates, speakers, and participants. My name is Dr. Rajrupa Ghosh, Assistant Professor of Zoology, and on behalf of Banwarilal Bhalotia College, I welcome you all in a national webinar on research methodology and intellectual property rights organized by Research and Development Cell. The world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having some of them here to build this event. With this note, I would like to give my heartiest welcome to our resource persons, Dr. Abhijit Mitra and Dr. Premnath, our principals, sir, all teachers and participants. We need your complete support to make this event memorable and fantastic. Before entering the session, I would like all the participants not to unmute yourself or share the screen throughout the presentation. Now, I am very much happy to announce the name who is my PhD supervisor, that is Dr. Abhijit Mitra. Dr. Mitra is an associate professor and former head, Department of Marine Science, University of Calcutta. He has been active in sphere of oceanography since 1985. Currently, Dr. Mitra is serving Techno India University, West Bengal as the Director of Research. He has to his credits about 667 scientific publications in various national and international journals, 62 books of postgraduate standards, and has successfully guided 52 PhD students. He has been serving Calcutta Port Trust and WWF, that is Worldwide Fund, in various capacities to carry out research programs on environmental science and biodiversity. In addition, he is an active member of PACON, that is PACON International, IUCN, SIOS, and has successfully completed about 21 projects on biodiversity loss in fishery sector, coastal pollution, alternative livelihood, climate change, and carbon sequestration. Dr. Mitra was invited as a visiting fellow at University of Massachusetts at Dartmouth, USA, to deliver a series of lectures on climate change. In addition, he has also visited as a faculty member in several foreign universities of Singapore, Kenya, and Oman. Presently, his domain of expertise includes environmental science, mangrove ecology, sustainable aquaculture, blue economy, climate change, and carbon sequestration. Today, he is going to discuss about the research methodology. I would like to welcome Dr. Mitra to add glory in this atmosphere. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay.
Welcome, sir.
Okay, because good morning to everybody. Without wasting much time, let me share the digital mode to start the lecture. You just tell me that whether the slide is visible or not.
Not yet, sir.
Sir, it's coming. Now it's visible.
Okay. Good morning to everybody, and I'm really grateful to the organizer for giving me this opportunity to speak a few words on the research methodology. Now, basically, I want to say that what actually is research. To me, there are different definitions of research, but to me, research means something to know the unknown, to hear the unheard, or to see the unseen. We develop from our observations certain theories, certain philosophy, certain hypotheses. Then we want to test the hypothesis, and if it goes in a right direction, that actually is an accurate findings, and that's actually the research. But there are several steps to prove my hypothesis in a right direction, to give an essence of truth, to give an essence of societal benefit, and that actually is the research. And for that, we have to follow certain steps. So I have divided my contents into the five headings. Firstly is the definition of the research, then what are the types of the research, then how we should go for the sampling of the data, because that is a very important part. And the fourth one is that the various types of sampling, and finally is the plagiarism, which is very important, because as you all know, that UGC has made mandatory that the plagiarism should be below 10%, otherwise your research at the end of the journey gets rejected. So these are the points to be undertaken. So as I've told you, the research is very creative and systematic work, to know the unknown, to see the unseen, and to hear the unheard. And it involves the collection of the data, analyze the information, and increase our understanding. Now, these are some of the steps of the research. Firstly, you should pose a question. Then after posing a question on a certain problem, you should start collecting the data. And that actually is the sampling. Now, different types of sampling are there. At least 12 types of sampling are presently in use. But I will prefer the stratified random sampling. Why I will tell you, because it gives a homogeneity to the entire domain of the collection of the data. Now, after collecting the data, you pose a question and present an answer to the question. So these are the 3 steps of the research, and why research is very important. It adds our knowledge. It's no doubt it adds our knowledge for the educators, for the academicians. It's a question of passion. And the second one is that the research improves our practice. That is very important, because you see, I've seen in my life that after doing the PhD, somebody becomes very dormant. They only go and teach in the class and come back at the end of the journey. There is nothing. After getting the PhD, it becomes a total stagnant one. But if you go on publishing paper, doing some projects, then it's a flow of just like the river, and a flowing of the river means an increase of the dissolved oxygen. Otherwise the dissolved oxygen gets depleted. So this is how it improves the practice. And thirdly is the policy debates, because it is very, very important. Unless you make a solid findings, it should be converted into policy. For example, during the last ILA in 2019, or in Amphan in 2020, or in YAS in 2021, yeah, you know that in the city of Kolkata, particularly in Salt Lake area, in West Bengal, several trees get uprooted. Now here comes the policy level, because the time was there when the Forest Department, Government of West Bengal, started a forestation program in a massive way, without going deep into the subject, that 30% of the root will be under the ground and 70% will be the above the ground. That is called the above ground biomass, and the under the ground is the below ground biomass, BGB. Now there is a ratio, 7:3 ratio. But have you seen that in the city of Kolkata, for increasing the beautification, what happens? There is a massive plantation without any planning, without any proper scientific outlook. So that's happened actually during the time of these cyclonic depressions. These trees got uprooted. So we started a policy debates, and now KMC, Kolkata Municipal Corporation, has taken a very, very interesting steps. They are taking our suggestions that how to go for plantation, what type of plantation, and which type of plantations are suitable considering the eco-geological and the climatic conditions of the state of West Bengal, something like that. So now if we are giving the inputs, and now it will come into the policy level. So these are the 3 things which are the major output from the research. Now, coming to the research, you all know that research are of various types, maybe scientific, humanities, artistic, economic, social, business, marketing, practitioner like the law, then a life science, technological research. These are very, very important different categories of the research, and you are all aware of it. But what is very important is that the main steps of the research methodology, first you have to have an observations, very keen observations on the subject. Maybe n number of subjects are there. You are interested in one particular area, so you observe the thing. Then you develop a hypothesis that why it is there. Then you give a conceptual definition that it may be there because of this. It's a concept, but that's not a mathematical or operational definition. Then you start collecting data, then analyze the data, interpret it, and finally you start giving an end result to your hypothesis, what you have thought in point number 2. Then you come actually to the conclusion and the interpretation. So that actually is the research that is very important. Say for example, you know that from the very beginning that water is colorless, water is odorless, water is tasteless. Even our class 8 boys knows at the secondary level. But if you see the water behind at the back of your house, it is green in color. So here comes the observations. Why water is green? It is the nature of the water. It is colorless, odorless, tasteless. Then why it is green? Then the hypothesis comes. Must be some organisms may be there. Then you start searching and asking, and then you see that okay, that is a phytoplankton, the small floral particles which has got chlorophyll, and that's why if there is an abundance of phytoplankton, it becomes green in color. Then starts the operational research. You go into the field, collect the phytoplankton, look at the microscope, see the density per centimeter square or density per liter, and you see that if there is more phytoplankton, it becomes more green, and that is called the eutrophication. And eutrophication is very, very unhealthy for any environment, because the dissolved oxygen goes down during the night time, and there is a death or the mortality of the fish. So this type of thing, after the operational research, you start collecting the data, whether say for you have taken here what I have discussed, two variables. One is the number of phytoplankton, which is called which is if increases becomes known as the eutrophication, and the fish mortality. If both goes hand in hand, if there is more eutrophication and more fish mortality, that is directly proportional. The correlation becomes almost near to 1. The correlation coefficient is another important step of statistics. It is a statistical tool which is used to do your research very healthy, and you come to a concrete, solid platform of analysis and data interpretation. So in that way, you move on. So these are the various steps of the scientific research. But what is very important, I will ask first, the second point, the literature review. You must know that who have done this work, what are the gap areas. Otherwise, you will fall into plagiarism nowadays, because I have told that the government of India and the state government, UGC, has become very, very strict regarding the plagiarism part. That is very important. Now, the thing is that the types of research, there are two types of research: qualitative research and quantitative research. You know that qualitative research is something that is, if you have got a fruit, you tell that it is sour in taste. That is qualitative research. So it's common sense that it is acidic. But if you go for the quantitative research, you put a pH meter, you insert a pH meter inside, and you know that what is the acidic content, whether it is 4.9 or 5.1. That is actually quantitative research. But I will ask the organizer if you can see me. Can you see me? Or you can see only the
Yes,
the
sir.
PPT.
Yes, sir. We can see
You
you
can
also.
see
Yes,
you can
sir.
see me also. Okay.
Yes.
But just can you see this? What is this?
Carrot.
Carrot.
Carrot contains carotenoid. Carotenoid is an antioxidant, which is scientists are telling they have got many, very good properties, like anti-cancerous property, antioxidant property, then anti-aging properties. Now, if I want to say that what is the amount of antioxidant carotenoid in the carrot? So it's a very interesting thing. There is a Japanese fan. You know, there is a Japanese fan, and lab process is also there. HPLC also we are conducting. But if you just compare these results with the color of the carrot, you see that this one is matching very much with this. So if you see that what is written over here, it is written 27. So 27 milligram, 27 ppm, that is 27 milligram per kg, is similar to this. And you can see from this fan that what is the amount of the carotenoid present in it. So more the figure goes, it becomes deeper and deeper, and finally it becomes like this. And it is applicable for whole. You boil any type of food, maybe prawn, maybe any type of fish, and you just compare it with this salmo fan. This is called the salmo fan. And you can see, at least in a crude way, you can teach the student that what is the amount of carotenoid present in the fruits, present in the vegetables, present in the animal protein, etc. So this actually is a sense of quantitative research. So that actually I'm very much interested. Unless you get the quantity, you cannot correlate. You cannot go for the correlation. You cannot go for the regression. These are very important parts of the research. Now, what I'm very much interested, I was telling you about the green trees, about the green plants. They are called the carbon blank of the planet, because you know that these are the organisms which can prepare their food with the help of solar energy, water, and the food is glucose. And after that, process is called the photosynthesis. And after making the entire kitchen, the leaf of the plant full of glucose, they lose one molecule of the water, H2O, and it becomes a starch. This starch is stored in the form of stored carbon inside the plant. That is called the carbon sequestration, which is very, very important. Today, the global warming has started in full swing throughout the earth. You know, the permissible level of carbon dioxide, I again tell, the permissible level of carbon dioxide, quote unquote, is 350 ppm of this planet Earth. And now we have crossed almost 418 ppm. Today, if anybody gives a search, carbon dioxide content in the planet Earth under the Mauna Loa Observatory in your mobile, just now, you will say that it has crossed 421 ppm. But the permissible level is 350 ppm. This is because of the rapid industrialization, urbanization, and we have destroyed the plants for the sake of development of the industry, for the sake of development of urban development and all these things, tourism development. So we have got a very, and at the same time, when there is a locking of the carbon dioxide, when there is a storage of carbon dioxide in the plants, at the same time, equivalent amount of oxygen is also produced. I tell it just like the ATM counter, ATO counter, all-time oxygen you are getting, free of cost. We don't give value to that, but during the time of COVID, when our own relatives, our own brothers, sisters, and our own companions and friends suffered from COVID, and we have to supply and buy oxygen, at that time we could realize that what is the value of oxygen which we are getting free of from these green trees. So this is all time the oxygen is we are also getting at the expense of the carbon dioxide. This is very important, and this is actually known as the carbon sequestration. Now, you know, in the transport sector, why actually this global warming? I'm not going in details. It may be another class of 2 or 3 hours that what are the causes. There are so many free natural causes like the solar storms, magnetic storms on the planet, which are beyond our control. But what I am telling that this is a recent graph, just 1 month back. This graph you see in 2019, 2021, and 22, how the registered private car have increased in the city of Kolkata. You see from the 1,890, it has become 6,51,000 over a period of 3 years. 50,000 cars have increased, and you know that one liter of petrol emits 2.30 kg of carbon dioxide, and 1 liter of diesel emits 3.50 kg of carbon dioxide. So you can see that a huge number of carbon dioxide we are emitting from the vehicles, and that's actually, that is also one of the important, other than industrial development and urban development. So if this is a supercomputer model of NASA, this is not a thing that I have discovered or I have made this color. You see the NASA logo is over here, and you can see that here the white arrow, the more it becomes red in color, the more is the carbon dioxide. It is approaching with the time towards the exceeding 400 ppm. And what I have told, the normal value of carbon dioxide is 350 ppm. Now, if you look at the global map, you will see that all the American countries, North American countries, and Europe are emitting maximum red color carbon dioxide. I am not against US. I am not against Europe. But this NASA picture, the supercomputer have generated this picture, which tells that the developed nations are the main culprit compared to the countries in the southern hemisphere. You see the South America, Africa, so Australia, they are emitting much less carbon dioxide compared to the countries in the northern hemisphere, the developed countries. And the root causes are industrialization, urbanization, and deforestation, no doubt. So there is a lot of carbon dioxide. This is one of the research methodology. And if there is more carbon dioxide, what happens? You know, there are certain adverse impact. For example, I don't know whether you have heard about this shell. They are called oysters. Oysters are very palatable dishes found in the 5-star, 3-star hotels, and it is consumed in a very prolific way in the South Asian countries. Now, these oysters are particularly mollusks. The outer shell is made up of calcium carbonate, and inside there is a flesh which is rich in protein and antioxidants. Carotenoid is there, so it is a very healthy diet. But nowadays, if there is more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, then carbon dioxide reacts with the water. to form carbonic acid. And this carbonic acid, it is acidic, the pH is going down. So the oyster shells are becoming thinner and thinner, and finally they are going under other lethal condition. They are suffering the mortality. So we are losing the species. So that's dangerous. So it's not the global warming that there is heat wave and you are under the heat and there is a cyclonic depression. But at the same time, our rivers, our estuaries, our oceans, our seas, all these are where the pH is going down. The process is called the acidification. That is very, very important. If you just give a search in the Google, you will see one of my book written by Springer. It is a 750 pages book, Acidification of Estuarine Water, exploring the situation of Indian Sundarbans. So it is a collection of the data for the last 40 years where we have done some predictive modeling using the neural artificial network NAR. And we have seen that if it goes like this in 2050, the most of the rivers will be touching 7 or 6.9. It is very, very dangerous in India, and the pace is going to be like that. So these are some of the important and a very matter of concern about the global warming. So not that the heat is the temperature is increasing, but at the same time the water quality is also changing. Some of my scholars are doing work in Mandarbani area and in the Sankarpur area. You see, with the help of the quadrant, they are measuring how much oysters are there. Then they are collecting the oysters. They are also looking the pH simultaneously. Now here again comes the research methodology. Oyster and pH. Oyster is one variable, Y. It is a dependent variable. pH is an independent variable, X. So they are correlating with each other, trying to see that if the pH goes down, the oyster population goes down, or if the pH goes down, the oyster population increases, whether there is a direct relationship or indirect relationship. So these are some of the important research aspects where the quantitative research, first you have to collect the data, because you see this guy is measuring the oysters. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 oysters are there in 1 meter square quadrant. So in that case, he will go to another sampling plot. He will go to another randomly. Or if you want to do it stratified, then some of this part he can do, then he can go to upper part where the seawater reaches during the high tide. This is called stratification. So these are the sampling process. You can do randomly, or you can stratify, that where the water is there always, that is the intertidal zone where it reaches during the high tide. You divide it, the entire pillar, into strata. Then you start collecting the data randomly. So these are the stratified random sampling. This is very, very important. So these are some of the aspects of the research methodology which has got practical application in our daily life. Now, what I was telling, that this is a very, very important part and very basic things for the students. The carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is increasing because of deforestation, urbanization, and industrialization. This carbon dioxide is reacting with the water to form a dissolved carbon dioxide, and then it is forming carbonic acid. Whenever it is forming carbonic acid, this is very highly unstable from the chemical equilibrium point of view, and it splits up into proton, 2H plus, and CO3 minus minus. More the number of protons. What is proton? What is pH? The relationship between the proton and pH? pH is the negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration. So more the number of proton, the less will be the pH. And this proton, if the pH becomes less, if the proton becomes high, the pH becomes less, it does not allow the calcium and carbonate to join. And as a result, this calcium and carbonate cannot come with each other. As if proton is creating a divorce between the husband and wife. A calcium and carbonate, if we consider them as the husband and wife, the proton is creating a boundary between them so that they cannot unite. So this proton is the villain. And this proton is coming from where? The main villain, who is operating from the top, is the carbon dioxide. Because carbon dioxide is actually forming the carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is actually breaking up into proton and carbonate ions. And this proton is actually causing the division. They are not allowing the molar shell to join with each other. So these are very important parts of the research methodology. Recently, in this year, from January to May, we had training. I went to the South Bengal areas like Asansol, Bankura, Purulia, then Burdwan, Durgapur, where we have trained all the forest department to collect the data, and the data collection have already been started. We are calculating the carbon content in the sal, eucalyptus, and akashmoni, and we are just looking that which plants have the greater carbon dioxide absorbing capacity, and then we will be giving the forest department the chart that out of this n number of plants, say 36 varieties of plants they have planted, then which are the best species which can absorb the carbon dioxide, and then there can be a change in the policy, I hope. If we can give this suggestion, this work has already been started. You see, this is what we are doing in the field. We are making a quadrant study of 10 meters square, 10 meters square, and there are 9 number of trees within the 10 meters square, within the 10 into 10, 100 meter square quadrant. This is one end of the 10 meter. This is another 10 meter. With the rope we go to the field, and this is another 10 meter. So these are the 4 sides of the square, the quadrant of 10 meter, 10 meter. We calculate the number of trees inside, and then we estimate that what amount of carbon is there. How do we estimate? Consider this tree as the cylinder. What is the volume of cylinder? Pi r square h. So if you know the volume of the tree, you know the radius, you know the height with the help of the drone technology or with the help of the laser. Laser is very cheap, only 5,000 rupees, around 5,000 you get a laser beam. You can put it on the tree and you can know the height of the tree. So pi r square gives the volume. And when you get the volume, multiply this volume with the density take a piece of the wood and you get the biomass. If you get the biomass, take the small piece of wood, put it in CHN analyzer, and you get the percentage of the carbon. By that way, you can tell that which species can absorb what type of. You see, I am here in the mid of the in the mid of the quadrant, and you see this is the hand of one of our students. Just now he spoke, Rajrupa Ghosh. But she has done the PhD under our supervision from the Calcutta University. This is her hand, and she is measuring in the field of Sundarban, the rigorous environment of Sundarban, that what is the 2 pi r, the radius, and then this is the formula: pi r square h, radius at the breast height, and multiplied by height. Height you go. You measure through the laser, then you take a wood density, multiply with the wood density, and that's a very important thing. And if you make it into SI unit, multiply with 1,000, so you can get tons per hectare or kg per meter square. So this is how we are working in the field to know the carbon dioxide content in the by these plants, how much carbon dioxide they are absorbing. And you can see that this is the piece of wood we have taken after measuring the diameter. This piece of wood we put in a CHN analyzer to know the percentage of the carbon, and that's how we know the amount of the carbon. If you are interested, of course, Dr. Rajrupa Ghosh and your organizer are there. You can contact with me directly so that you can learn more about the subject, and I can share some of the important literature with you all. Then after coming to this type of research, application-oriented research, field-oriented research, you come to correlation and regression. You know, if you see the root biomass, you uproot a tree or a small plant, and total carbon in the y-axis and this at the x-axis. You see, this is a regression, and the regression is very, very bad because you see the R square value is 0.1767. If the value ranges between -1 to +1, if the value approaches towards +1, it is very, very good sense. Say it is 0.9831, unique positive correlation, and the regression becomes almost a straight line. So these are the thing, but here you see the regression equation is very bad, 0.1767. Why? Because the points are scattered. Points are scattered. When we plot the quantitative, the root biomass and the total carbon of the tree, we find that there is no relationship. Samanupatiko noy, byastanupatiko noy. Neither they are not correlated in a inverse way, or they are correlated in a direct way. There is no direct proportionality. There is no inverse proportionality. There is no correlation at all. That's why the R square value is like this. But if there is a positive correlation, what happens? You know, the R square value becomes more than 0.6. So that's how it is represented. We do the model. So you can see here the total biomass of the tree. Previously it was the root. Now I am telling the total biomass of the tree. How I have measured, I have told you with the help of pi r square h multiplied by density. And then you also find the carbon content. There is a unique correlation. You see the regression line and the r square, the goodness of the fit of this line is 0.9975. So this is a unique correlation. For that, you have to collect data from various points. So you see there are here about 12 or 15 points are there. These are the different graphs. And these are the points on the basis of which this regression equation has been constructed. So the correlation and regression are the very important parts of the research methodology. These are some of the data. I'm not going in details. We have done some study in Sundarban with the help of the funding of the Ministry of the Arts Science Government of India. And it was, the research is already been published. If you just give a search Avijit Mitra, Abhigit, Avijit Mitra mangrove, you get a number of books. And springers, you know, they are very very professional. So at least 50 pages you can learn free of cost. Then they will tell you to buy the book, so you don't worry for that. But 50 pages you can learn free of cost. Just give a search Abhijit Mitra mangrove. You get a number of books and papers, almost free of cost. You can see these values are there. Now coming to the sampling. Now different types of sampling are there, but I will suggest you to go for the random and stratified sampling. These are very important. First you stratify. First you make a strata. Say for instance, you want to know how many postgraduate students are there in your locality. So say in Salt Lake, in place of Dr. Rajrupa Ghosh's place. So you will go to block C, block B, block A, all these things. So make a strata. She will not go randomly here and there, how many postgraduates. Then a questionnaire is formed. Then on the basis of that, okay, Salt Lake, if block A is this, block B is this, block C is this. Either this way or in a income group, say low income group, mid income group, or high income group. Then you can go for sampling, and then you can ask. So first I will suggest that divide the entire universal set into some strata, depending on the motive or the objective of your research, and then go for the random sampling. This gives a very accurate result. Otherwise, different types of samplings are there. Then coming to the plagiarism, this is very important. It is an unauthorized acknowledgement. It is often seen in our research domain. Of course, we copy from some others, just change the language. We get the idea, we steal the idea from some others, and then start publishing paper. This is not a healthy one. If some of you acknowledge it, then give a quotation. Now a quotation is given and give a reference. So either it is done accidentally or purposefully. It is cheating is a cheating. So Government of India, UGC, has taken a very strict action. They have devised a number of softwares like Turnitin, then Urkund, then Plaque Checker, all these things where you can see that how much you have plagiarized, or whether your research is out of the paper or the thesis is below 10%. That is very, very important. So the rules to avoid plagiarism: cite what you write, avoid the copy pasting, use short quotations. Yes, if you use short quotations and on that same page you write the reference, your plagiarism will go a number of times, I tell you, because I'm just guiding several of my PhD students, and I've already completed the half century. So I know that how to avoid plagiarism. Yeah, I tell you that if there is a lane, there is always, or if there is a pass, or if there is a road, there is always a bypass also. So you can avoid it. But there are certain rules, certain technologies, certain tactics are there. So this is very important. Plagiarism has to be avoided. And collaborative research is very important. I'll be very happy if some of you can join hands with us. Of course, take care of thinking your time, and because all of you are always in a study, you are taking the exam, looking after the student projects. So, but collaboration is a very important thing, because up to a certain level we have the capacity. Beyond that, we don't have the capacity. For example, we are collaborating with the forest department because we don't have access in the deep forest always. So we go and train the people once in fortnightly, and then we have given them the questionnaire, already trained them, the forest officers at the ground level, the beat officers, and now they are supplying the data of interior the forest, like Ilam Bazar, then Bakura deep forest, then Purulia deep forest. We are getting the data sheet, and then we have started interpretation and the analysis of the data. So this collaborative approach is very, very important. And once the research methodology is complete, you are one step ahead towards the award. So this is very, very important. And with this, I thank you all, but I will share just a very important index, which is very important for the students. For example, this index, so many indices are there to predict whether the ecosystem is good or bad. Shannon-Wiener index is there, it is a biological index used by the biologists, but in 1949 it was constructed and it was developed by a mathematician, Shannon-Wiener, in 1949. So mathematics is a very, very important tool to support the biological system. This is one recent index which the student can learn. This is known as the threat index, where TI is the threat index, NO is the, am I audible, or my voice is getting cracked?
Sir, you are audible.
Audible.
Okay. So NO is the number of individuals of opportunistic species, NS is the number of individuals of sensitive species, and NT is the total number of individuals. I just give you an example for the student. Suppose you have taken your students to two of the ponds. One is pond A and one is pond B. Now, opportunistic species means those who take the opportunity of the environment. Their population will increase. So the species with the highest population is denoted as the NO. Who is having the highest population? Snake. And who is having the lowest population? Crab. So 6 minus 1, NO minus NS by NT. What is the total? Total is the 10. So with this, 6 minus 1 by 10 is 5 by, that is 0.5. And again for pond B, if you see that all are same, so 5 minus 5 is 0. That means pond B is very, very favorable, is it not? Because all are getting equal resources, all are having almost same population, means they are flourishing equally, the environment is good. So there is a scale. The scale lies between 0 to 1, and more the value goes towards 0, it is a favorable environment. The more the value goes towards 1, it is an unfavorable environment. So this you can teach the student. They can go to the field, they can go to the pond, they can collect the samples and they can count it, and then they can go for identifying the threat index. This is very, very important. Again, you see, this is applicable before industry and after industry. Say during our trip to the southern districts of West Bengal, we came to several places like Durgapur steel plant, then Mejia thermal power plant. In Mejia thermal power plant, say for example, before industry, this is the snake was 6, 3, crab was 1, and after industry it becomes 0, 0, 10. So what happens? This is the opportunistic species. This one is the sensitive. So before industry, this is 6 minus 1 by 10 is 0.5. Now after the industry started, a lot of effluent, say for instance, I'm just giving an example. A lot of effluents may come after the major thermal power plants get installed. There may be lead, there may be coal, there may be suspended particulate matter. So in that case, 10 is the highest and 0 is the lowest. So 10 minus 0 by 10, it's 1. It is the upper limit of this threat index. So what I have told, the lower limit and the upper limit of the threat index is 0 to 1. The moral is, the bottom line story is 0 to 1. 0 is favorable. The more you go towards 0 is favorable. The more you go towards 1, this condition, you see, they could not adapt. So with this environment, so only one species is surviving. So the value becomes 1. So more you go towards 1, it becomes an unfavorable environment. So these are the things which can be imbibed to the student community. I'm not going in details because these are some of the programs we have written in C language. So I'm not going in details, but these are some of the aspects which you are carrying out in the field when you are going to Sundarbans teaching the students. And since it is a research methodology, I must tell the teachers should also get involved with the students with this type of data. And if you are interested, always, and after doing this, you can present this, because today is a digital thing. You can present it in the YouTube also. This small projects that will add benefit to it. We have already uploaded in the YouTube. And if now I'll go to the end of the session. So if there is any questions, you can ask me so that I can give you some idea about the practical utility of the research methodology. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your stimulating speech. Your comments were especially helpful for those who are doing their research and who want to start their research. Your talk seemed to provide much needed help. Sir, no more questions here. So,
Sir, actually, I have a small question, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
Sir, actually, you just spoke about plagiarism and how we can just tackle the plagiarism using the software, say Turnitin, Urkund, or Authenticate and all that. However, sir, these softwares will only check for similarity indexes. They are not equipped with the AI to check the plagiarism exactly what exactly has been done or not.
Right.
So what exactly, how can we actually check whether an idea is plagiarized or not? Because UGC has already recommended a scheme, say for thesis plagiarism content, they have just told us to devise a departmental level committee, and there should be a subject expert who will be able to gauge whether how much plagiarism is there or not. However, sir, in the general sense, say suppose that we are organizing some conferences or seminars and we will be accepting some papers. So in that case, how can we just check the plagiarism of each and every paper? Say suppose that we are organizing e-consults as a conference for each and every year, and it is on a general topic. So it is not always possible for us to get the resource persons for reviewing from each and every field and each and every domain. So from a general point of view, how is there any software or what should be our methodology to tackle plagiarism?
Yes, idea, if it is stolen, it cannot be checked, because there is no AI that by which you can stop or you can combat the idea stealing of the ideas. But what we actually it is done is that ideas are converted into different languages. That is called the paraphrasing. This is nowadays there is no other route, and this is the only way. And if you go for the Turnitin, say I will tell that there is a similarity index. You just see that if it is below 10, if it is not 10, say if it is 13% or something like that. I tell you a very shortcut method. Suppose you have that the threat index of this is designed by Shannon and Winner in 1949. So you just put a double inverted comma, and under that you give an underline on the same page, and you just put the Shannon Winner index 1949. You just give a mathematical interpretation of the biological name of the paper. You see, in the next moment, it will vanish. It will come to almost 2% is deleted from that. So that is very important. So you just give a double quotation. That is one of the tricks I am telling you. But not all the tricks I'm telling you, because it is a professional discussion, and if it is not good, because the students should learn out of their own. And this is one of the process I'm telling you. And the second thing is that paraphrasing is very important. You take the idea, but at the same time, this idea was also generated by this. You tell their names and put their names within the double inverted comma. So idea you are getting, this idea was already being devised for the present geographical local or for different geographical local by this name of the scientist within double inverted comma. This will make some sense. Thank you.
So thank you, sir. Actually, this is a very good answer. Actually, what happens, like whenever we do the literature survey in our theses or in our research papers,
Yes.
in the introduction part, it more or less comprises of the research done already, which has been accomplished and done by the previous researchers. And how much paraphrasing we might do or how much tricky we can write, there will be a case when all the combinations and permutations have been exhausted. And whenever we
Yes.
write, say whenever I'm writing Dr. X has done so and so work, so that work is done by Dr. X only. So we cannot say that Dr. X has done something else which has not been done. So it will be caught by the Turnitin software like plagiarism or something like that. So it's a very good idea or a very good technique to
Yes, try to put
escape
it
that
in
one, like
try to put it in double inverted comma.
double inverted commas. Okay, sir.
Yes, yes.
Thank
At
you,
the
sir.
beginning, at the end, and take not more than 10 or 15 lines. Because if you put the double inverted comma throughout the whole, it will not work. Take
Not
10 to 15 lines, then leave 4 or 5 pages. Again, start double inverted comma like that. You can reduce.
Sir, and one more question, sir. Actually, sir, I was going through some of the papers on carbon sequestration and the global warming and all that. Sir, however, sir, some of the researchers are of the opinion that the impact of global warming is more or less a natural phenomenon rather than human induced. Some people are telling that it is like Earth was very much warm on way, and the carbon content is very much higher in the earlier ages, and it is basically a kind of a cycle. Like during some centuries it was higher, and during some other centuries it is lower. So they were just projecting some statistical data and showing that the human contribution is not much as the natural process which is already being taken for billions of years. So what is exactly your opinion on that take?
I will just tell in this case the data provided by by NASA. NASA is telling that 83% is being governed by the nature. They are the natural forces. And the natural forces include the magnetic storms in the sun. The natural forces include the plate tectonics, because you know the Earth is made up of asthenospheric plates. They are moving at the rate of 2 to 10 centimeters per year. So they are colliding with each other. And whenever there is a friction, there is a generation of the heat. You cannot stop the collision of the plates. So then volcano is there. If there is more volcano, then people think that there is a global warming. Not that. If there is more volcano, there is an emission of the gas which reacts with the water vapor and forms a layer which is called haze. Haze does not allow the solar radiation to come to the Earth, and it becomes global cooling. Anyway, it is a climate change. Either it is global warming or global cooling. But NASA is telling that 83% is contributed by nature. We cannot control. And we human beings only have the capacity of just the remaining of the 83%, that is 17%. So, but now, just day before yesterday, they are just changed the data that 83% has become 71%. Human beings, now the natural forces have become very much stable. But the human beings have aggravated the situation. They have accelerated the situation to a large scale. And this is mainly because we have destroyed some of the biggest sink of carbon, like the Amazon forest of Panama, like the rainforest of Brazil, the rainforest of Africa. And even in Sundarbans, if you go there, you will see all stream farms. All the mangrove forests have been cut off. Their prawn culture has become a business. It has become a business in Indonesia, in other parts. I have visited to some of the South Asian countries. So the human reasons have aggravated the situation. But definitely natural cause is a cause which is a matter of concern, and we don't have any control on that.
Okay, sir. So thank you so much, sir. Sir, any further questions from the audience?
Sir, there are one question. Can you please tell us something about the softwares used for statistical analysis of data?
I think SysStat is very important software, but if you go to the Excel, Excel, you can do everything. You can do correlation, you can do multiple regression, you can do single correlation, you can do ANOVA. Everything is there in Excel. But if you want to go for a higher one, you can go for the SysStat. SysStat is a very good software.
Is it accepted, sir? Excel?
Excel.
Excel, sir?
Yes. Why not? Excel is always accepted, because you, at the end of the journey, you have to show the graphical representation, the correlation coefficient, what is the value, what is the regression equations, whether R square goodness of fit is right or not. It is very much accepted.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
No more questions. Thank you again from all of us,
Hello.
and we hope
Hello.
that you will join us again, sir. Now, moving on, moving to the next speakers of the day, Dr. Premnath sir,
Hello.
I would like to
Hello.
request,
Hello.
yes, Nektadev.
Yes, Chandra, can I ask one question to Dr. Abhijit, Professor
Oh,
Abhijit
yes, you
Patel?
can.
Yes,
Sir,
I just,
are you there?
Yes, yes,
yes,
yes.
yes, sir. Actually, sorry, I could not connect this video. But regarding your the how we are accelerating the humankind, actually, human being, we are accelerating the destroy or the how we are contributing to enhance the extent of carbon dioxide in our nature. Just regarding that, I would like to ask you, sir, that means what are the measurements or what are the steps that from the government and from non-government organization that they are taking actually to just to bring down that carbon dioxide level, or to just keep a hold, actually to put an hold that that the acceleration rate cannot be go further. So because we have been studying many of these steps and the measurements or the policies they are making, but anyhow the implementation part is actually it's being very diluted. Means the implementation part is not being carried out very properly. So what is your comment? Means what else we can do to bring down the effective carbon dioxide level of our uh, earth and the global environment, actually? So can you just put light on this?
Well, I've already told you that the normal level of carbon dioxide is 350 ppm. Now, every time there are some policy meeting, COP, Kyoto Protocol, every time they are telling that the temperature has to bring down, the carbon dioxide has to be brought down. But it is not possible because we are going far ahead in terms of the industrial development, and employment generation is a must. So what we are doing, this is number one. Every government, all the state governments have given much stress on the plantation program. This has been, there is no failure in that. All the states have started the plantation program, afforestation program in mass scale through forest department, and this is the greatest institutional support. India is regaining the forest, not like the Panama or the Brazil, that hectares and hectares of forest. We are achieving a biggest target. India is one of the leader in the forefront. This is number one. But the thing is that just merely the plantation of trees will not give a good result. There are certain trees which
Yes.
get decomposed very easily and they emit carbon dioxide rather than sequestering. So this has to be identified. This is number one. That I have told you the process, the pi r square h multiplied by density. This is one of the process that should come in the policy level. And the forest department has already started that, but although late. This is number one. Number two is the adaptation. Adaptation in terms of the livelihood. In many of the places I have seen that they are culturing oysters, they are culturing seaweeds. What are seaweeds? Seaweeds are the thallophytes. They are found in the intertidal zone or in the deep ocean, where up to where the light can reach, and they absorb a lot of carbon dioxide, even the dissolved carbon dioxide from the water. So this seaweed culture is giving an alternative livelihood. You know how? Number one, we in Techno India University, where I am the research director, some of them has made kachuri, shingara, and jelly from the seaweeds. And we have tied with the Spencer. It is, of course, in an embryonic stage. So what is happening? We are getting a dual benefit. We are culturing seaweeds in Sundarban, in Jharkhali area, in our campus. That is a very small scale, of course, in a pilot scale. And the seaweeds are absorbing the carbon dioxide from the water, also from the atmosphere. Then that is taken to the laboratory. They are preparing jelly. One Prosenjit Pramanik, he has got doctorate from that. He is making that. So the livelihood process, if it can be tagged, then the people of Sundarban will earn something and they will go for the culture. So this livelihood options is a very important fact. But you are correct that government has not implemented it in a full scale because they are not even aware that what are seaweeds. This is one of the tragedy of our policymakers or at the ministry level. But anyway, we should not lose our hope. Thank you.
Yes. And what about that pollution, sir? The industry pollution, because the emission actually they should be purified first and then they should be emitted. But in that part also, as per my knowledge, and means India has not done that much progress, or means the environment is being more polluted due to this industry and the development of this industry also, because the emission, it is creating more and more pollution. So abroad, actually, means the outside world apart from India, they are purifying that that emitted carbon dioxide and all the sulfur dioxide, everything, and then they are emitting out in the atmosphere. But here, I think it is also not been properly done in our India, as per my
Uh,
knowledge.
it is done. I have just shown the supercomputer model of NASA, where
Yes.
they are just pointing that the North American industries are the biggest polluter in the whole world, compared to India, Africa, the other countries of
Australia,
South
yes,
Africa.
Australia, yes.
Yes, it is already there. But what is there in India? There are a lot of fallacies, because if you want to implement a treatment plant, you have to spend a lot. And the medium, micro, small scale industries, MSME sector, is undergoing a loss after the COVID. So they are not giving much stress on the pollution control. This is one of the fault. I do agree with you, but they are giving large scale thrust on the plantation. This is number one. In Haldia, they are putting mangroves and ipomia, that is a sand binders, which are absorbing the pollutants. And what they are doing after absorbing the pollutants, they are cutting the timber and making it into furniture, so that the pollutants is locked forever in the timber. So that things they are doing, they are trying to do it. But I must say that still we have a lot of way to go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Roy.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to request our faculty members, Dr. Rajrupa Ghosh, to introduce our second speaker of the day. Over to you.
Yeah, our second speaker is Dr. Premnath. He is a former examiner of patents and designs and assistant controller of patents and designs at the Patent Office, Kolkata. Currently, he is working in the capacity of Associate Professor at Computer Science and Engineering Department, HNB Garhwal University, a Central University, Uttarakhand. His active research interests include intellectual property rights, wireless communication, automata theory, P2P network, etc., with several publications in high impact factor journals and translations of international repute. In addition, he has completed training at the Japan Patent Office, Tokyo, Japan, in the field of computer programs, sponsored by the World Intellectual Property Organization, and completed training in international patent classifications, etc., in collaboration with many foreign bodies like European Patent Office and the US Patent and Trademarks Office. Today, he is going to deliver the lecture about the intellectual property rights. Over to you, sir. Dr. Premnath, sir.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir.
Okay.
You are audible.
First of all, namaskar and very good morning to everyone. And I was listening to Dr. Mitro, that research methodology lecture, and I was thinking that if you have doing something intellectual things, so why you people not coming forward to make it patented? Thank you, sir, for focusing on the intellectual property rights aspect. And since I was in patent office for almost 30 years, and I remember when I was serving in patent office Kolkata, and I was staying in Salt Lake for almost 10 years, I remember, sir. And we visited so many universities, so many colleges to just promote the scholar and faculties, please come forward. Whatever you are doing, that is the excellent thing, but you need to be have some patent, some right over your intellectual things. So in that things, we have visited so many universities, so many colleges, and still I am trying. I am helping so many people, so many colleges, university, in filing, in drafting the patent applications. So let us start with not. We will come on each and every topic related to intellectual property rights. Let me share my slide first. I'm going to the. Is my screen is visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay. So I'm going to discuss on intellectual property rights and the patenting system in India. And I hope this lecture will help many of you to file patent applications and to be aware about your intellectual properties and how you can protect your intellectual property rights. Now, in this screen, you can see here, we have one TB, which is a Sony brand. And in this figure, you can see there are so many things we can observe here. One thing, suppose, let us talk about the remote control. The remote control is actually technological things. So that is one kind of the patent aspect, key, how the technology is involved in operating the remote. Okay. And then after that, if you see the logo of the Sony, that is very specifically right, SONY, that is Sony. So this mark is especially for the trademark. It indicating this brand is from the Sony Incorporation. Okay. Then the TB always come with the copyright, the manual things, how to operate the TV. That is the written instruction given on paper. That is particularly the copyright. And then when you go to the shop for purchasing any TV, today we are having LED and LCD. Maybe in future we have more than that. So when you go to purchase any TV, any actually electronics device, what we see that? We see what is the look, what is the look, color, what is the combination, how it is formed, whether it is looking good or not. So in that respect, whatever the aspect you have, that is come under that all things are protected under the design thing. So in this figure, we can see we have the patent, that is the technological thing. We have the trademark, that is the Sony name. Then we have the instructions supplied how to operate the TV, that is the copyright. And then what is the aesthetic look of the TV, that is the design aspect. Okay, so let us focus on all these things one by one. Now, before that, let us understand what is the property in general. See, when we say the property, broadly we can categorize in two categories. One is tangible property, another is intangible. Now, in case of tangible property, we can have the car, we can have the land, we can have the houses, we can have the money, these things. Okay. So that is the tangible aspect. Everyone is aware of these tangible things. Okay. Now, there is another category which is intangible. We cannot touch. Okay. But we can have on the practical aspect, we can implement it. This is the creation of our brain. And that is precisely the intellectual property rights. So the property things is also associated with the intellectual property rights. Now, in the same way as we can do with the property, we can sell the property, we can license the property, we can donate, we can gift to anybody. So all the activity, whatever you have with the property attached, okay, those all activity we can do with the intellectual property rights also. And this is the reason we have the term intellectual property rights. So it is the property, but it is the intellectual one. It is the creation of the brain. Now let us say in the broader aspect, what kind of intellectual property we have. We can categorize in two categories. One is the industrial property, another is copyright. So copyright just can say the expressions protected, okay, but When it comes to the intellectual industrial property, we have patents, we have designs, and we have trademarks. And apart from these patent, design, trademark, and copyright, we have three other intellectual property rights, that is geographical indications, we have layout design of integrated circuits, then we have trade secret also. Okay. Now let us understand what is patents. Now when it comes to the patent, it's a creation of your brain. It is creation of our brain, and this is technically, so let's say, it is all about a technical problem and technical solution. Where if you talk about the copyright is just the expressions which is being protected. But those expression, what the idea is carried by those expression, that is not protected by the copyright. But in case of the patent, we have the technical problem, and then we have the technical solution. So this is about the technicality. This is of the technical solution. Now, when you talk about the industrial design, okay, so this is aesthetic look of any object which is created in the industry, anybody. Okay, so that is the industrial design. Okay, so it may be the color combination, it may be the new shape, it may be the pattern, it may be the configurational things. Okay, so whatever the aesthetic look of anything, any product we have, that is totally under the industrial design. Okay, now after that we have the trademark. Now in the market, if any company wants to establish its product at the higher end, you can say the bigger sale, okay, then in that case the company has to make so many things like good design, then the reputation generally come with the trademark. Generally it's some visual symbol, it may be logo, it may be name, it may be some labeling, it may be figure with some symbol combination, some can say the name combination. So whatever the combination we have, that will call the trademark. Example, you can have the Sony, Panasonic, you can say in Samsung, any brand. Okay, even in the product, also in the medicine field, also in any kind of the sale thing, I can say any kind of the the commercial things, we can have the trademark. Okay, and that indicate a particular brand name. Okay, now as I told you, in the copyright, it is the artistic creation. It may be expressions, it may be painting, it may be music, it may be anything, okay, which is the expression protection generally. Okay, it is the artistic creations. Okay, now it comes into the existence as soon as the work is created. So this is the copyright. So I'm not going to further detail on the copyright. I'm focusing on the patent and the patenting system in the India. Now in the geographical indications, if I recall from the Kolkata region, you are very fond of that rasgulla. And recently, actually not recently, it's a few years earlier, it has been granted a geographical indication. So any goods, any product which is originated from a particular origin, having some unique characteristic, that can be granted, that can be given the geographical indication by the government of India. So the things may be in agriculture field, it may be natural, it may be manufactured. So any kind of goods which may be agriculture, may be natural things, may be manufactured. Now let us take some more examples. Okay, if you recall the Banarsi sari, Kolhapuri chappal, Dehradun basmati rice, even there are so many other things even, okay, which are definite origination, having the definite origin, and that has very unique characteristics as compared to the same good originated from the other region. So those all things can be given the geographical indications. Now the question is that what will be the benefit to get the geographical indication. Now, it's the same thing when the brand name indicates. Suppose you are fond of Sony brand, then you always look for the Sony brand. Okay, if you are fond of Samsung, then you always look for that same brand. So when it comes to the geographical marking, okay, the geographical indication thing, then the people have certain actually positive uh, aspect about that product, about that good, because this good is originated from this origin. It has very unique characteristics. It is very good. So if you talk about your Rasgulla part, that so it's very unique characteristic having originated from the Kolkata region. So the same thing applied to each and every geographical indication goods. So it carry one brand value, can say. Now, originating from a definite territory. So as I told you, the geographical indication always originate from definite territory in the India itself. Okay. Now, one thing I would like to clear here, if you talk about the patents, if you talk about the designs, if you talk about the geographical indications, these properties are always a territorial property. It means if you have that property granted by the government of India, then the validity of your protection is only in India. But the copyright, it may be across the world. Okay, there is no problem. It may be the Indian territory also. So this is the little bit difference in the protection of the different intellectual property rights. Now you can see here, as I was telling that, okay, what design can contribute to your product. You can see here, these are some few examples. You can see here, whenever you go to purchase any goods, you always look at the technology things, and then you always look at the brand name, then you look at the what is the design aspect. Okay, whether you are liking that good or not. Okay, so this is the contribution of the design which can give the technical effect to the any good. And when there are so many goods available in the same category, then the design and the you can say the logo of the company will give you a higher raise, can say, on the other goods available in the market. You can see the few more examples how the design can accelerate your commercial things. Okay, it can attract the more customer. Now let us focus on patents. So let us understand what is patent. As I told you, this is the technical problem and technical solution. So whatever the technological solution you have, that is the aspect of the patent. Okay, so patent is a solution for a technical problem. Okay, now a patent is an exclusive territorial right. So first you need to understand this is exclusive right and this is the territorial right. So when it, as I told you, when we say that this is the territorial right, it means when you got the patent granted in India by the Indian government, then the validity, the protection is only within the India. And if you want the protection for your patent across the other country, suppose in the US, maybe Japan, maybe in European country, you need to file your application, patent application in those country separately. And if those country grant patent for your application, then the validity will be valid in those country. So unless until you file your application for the patent in that particular country, you will not get the right in that country. So this is territorial right. Now, another thing is that it is exclusive right. Okay. Sometimes it is also called negative right. I'll just give one example. Suppose still we are fighting with the COVID-19 and we don't have any effective, suppose, antibiotic, yeah, maybe any drug, and suppose some pharmaceutical company come with some antibiotic and saying that it is 99% effective one. Can you imagine what will be the commercial scope of that drug? Okay, so suppose that company is having the patent over that drug and doesn't want to give to certain reason or certain country, then what will be what would be the effect? Now, anybody wants that drug at any cost. You can see, if you recall some vaccine, which was actually manufactured, which was invented with the collaboration with the 2-3 companies, maybe university. I don't remember the name that. Okay, so that Covishield, I remember that name. So it was actually invented with some venture collaboration with some university and then country, and but the license was given to the government of India, and after that it was actually manufactured in India and then got distributed. So this is the, can say, the exclusive right. This is the negative in the sense that if the owner of the patent doesn't want to give the right to you, then in that sense it is the negative right. It is the monopoly over that. Okay, so this is exclusive right and this is negative right at the same time. And in India, the patent validity, the protection period is 20 years from the date of filing of your application. Okay, now what will be the question? The very simple question is that what will happen after the expiry of 20 years? After that 20 years, it will go into the public domain. Now it will available to each and every person, each and every company. Anyone can exploit that invention. There is no any exclusive right remain on that patent. So this is one kind of the society benefit which is given by the patentee. Now, when it comes to the filing of the patent, okay, the inventor, the applicant must disclose his or her invention in details. Okay, unless until the inventor, the applicant disclose his invention entirely in the sufficiently, the patent office, government of India, is not going to grant the patent. It will raise the objections that your disclosure is not sufficient, like that. Okay, when a patent is granted, the applicant becomes the owner of the patent, just like the other property. Okay, after the grant of a patent, the applicant became the owner of the patent. Now the applicant can do the several things like selling the patent, giving the license to anybody for manufacturing, yeah, maybe doing the business on that. Okay, so the applicant can deal the patent as the property. Okay, it can license, it can sell, it can mortgage, it can do whatever the applicant want. Okay, now the patents are territorial right, as I told you, and if the government of India has granted the patent, then it will be valid only in India. Now, is it necessary to file an application for patent? Now, this is very big questions. Sometimes what happen, inventors think that okay, let us exploit that invention secretly. What is the need of disclosing that? That's okay, no problem. Anybody can exploit his or her invention secretly without disclosing, yeah, without taking the grant from the India. Okay, so what happen in that case? Suppose somebody steal your invention. So what you can do? Even you go for the filing FIR against the theft. What will be the actually base to fight the FIR? Okay, but when you have the patent granted from the government of India, you have certain rights which is given by the government of India. On that behalf, on that base, you can file the protection before the government of India, and government of India can give you remedy over that if your patent has been stolen by somebody. So You see, anybody can exploit the invention secretly. There is no foundation. But the thing is that when when it is stolen by somebody else, in that case, the protection from the government of India will be very weaker. You cannot fight in the court of law for protection because you don't have any right over that. Okay. So it is always advisable to file the patent application in order to have the protection over that. Now, one thing which I have observed from the many inventors, many scholars, many faculty, that is it possible to file the research paper for publication, and at the same time, is it possible to file the patent application on the same topic? Yes, you can do that. There is no problem. There is no any act against that filing. Now, when you have to understand two different things. When you file when you submit your research paper for possible publication to any journal, that is totally the copyright transferring from you to the publisher. There is no there's nothing as such that the idea protection in that. So the paper publication is the copyright material, and the patent is the protection of your idea. Okay, so you can do this both things similarly, parallelly, you can say, and there is no any rule against it. Okay, can you hear me properly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. Now, let us say what are the benefits of having the patent. Now, first benefit, just like the property, any other property you have, any interested person, company may buy the patent, wherein the patent becomes a nice tool for transfer of the technology. So first thing you have to understand, as I hear from the Mitra sir, that if suppose the researcher got one mechanism to find the carbon deposition, yeah, maybe to reduce the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and that procedure that actually method is very effective to minimize the pollution. So why not to apply that? You can get the patent over that, and you can have the sale of that. If you can, if you are able to find out some system, some apparatus on that, then even that apparatus you can sell to any company. The prototype which you have created, that can be transferred to any company to manufacture at the larger scale. So that is one benefit you can get from your research. Now, the patent provides the protection to the patentee. As I told you, when your application is granted, the government of India will give you one certificate, that is the grant certificate, and you have the right, okay, over that patent. And in case of any theft, in case of any stealing, you can go to the court of law for your protection, and even the court can give you the remedy, can you give you penalty from that stolen people, yeah, company, that company who stole the your patent can be penalized, and then that amount, that money can be given to the patentee. Okay, so this is one protection you can have. And then you can do the social benefit also. Suppose somebody have created one life-saving drugs. Okay, so expiry of 20 years of that protection, that drug, cancer, suppose cancer drug, that is the social actually things. Anybody can use it, anybody can manufacture it. So that is the one benefit the patentee can give to the society. Okay, so this is the social work also after the 20 years, that expiry of your patent. Now let us see the brief history of the Indian patent system. Now, in the British era, that is pre-independent India, we have only one office, that is the Calcutta. Today now it is the Kolkata. Okay, so there was only one office in India, and it was situated in the Calcutta, and it was enacted in 1956. And at that time, the right name was the exclusive privilege. It was not the patent. It was the name exclusive privilege. After that, the first Indian Patent Act was formed, and it was called Indian Patent and Design Act 1911. So again, this was by the British ruler. Okay, so in India, I can say the intellectual property things, the right, it is the exclusive privilege was begun by the British emperor, and it was called exclusive privilege, and it was amended in 1911. After that, after the independence of the India 1947, we have we have our own Indian Patent Act, which is called the Indian Patent and Design Act 1970. So basically, when we call Indian Patent Act, it is the Indian Patent Act 1970. Till today, we have so many amendments in this act. Okay, but when we say it, we call it Indian Patent Act 1970. So now we have the four patent offices. The main office is located in Kolkata. Then branch offices are located in New Delhi, Mumbai, and Chennai. Now you can see here the overall boss of the patent design and trademark offices in India is Controller General of Patents, Designs, and Trademark. So it is called CGPDTM. And since, as I told you, the main office is in Patent Office, Kolkata, but the boss is the Controller General is sitting in the Mumbai Patent Office. Okay, so this is the entire chart of the patent intellectual property right offices here. We have the patent office, head office Kolkata, then branch offices Delhi, Chennai, and Mumbai. Then we have patent information system located in Nagpur. This office is giving training to so many patent officials as well as the public also. Then we have the design offices. The head offices again in Kolkata, and branch offices are in Delhi, Chennai, and Mumbai. Then we have trademark registry office. The head office is in Mumbai. Okay, and then we have the branch offices in Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, and Ahmedabad. And then we have GI registry office. There is only one registry office which is located in Chennai office. So this is the illustration of the offices under the Controller General of Patents, Designs, and Trademark. You can see here. Now let us say a little bit brief about the Indian patent journey, from where we have started and at present what we have. So it was basically the Indian and Design Act 1911. At that period, the term for the patent was 16 years. It was not the 20 years at that time. After that, we have the amendment in 1970, and that was affected from the 20th April 1972. Okay. After that, we have the Indian government has signed so many bilateral treaties, so many international treaty. For examples, Indian government has signed GATT, that is General Agreement on Tariffs and Trades. It was signed by the Indian government in 1994. Then Indian government has also signed the agreement with the TRIPS, that is under the WTO, World Trade Organization. And TRIPS is basically trade related aspect of the intellectual property rights. It was signed by the government of India in 1995, 1st January 1995. After that, Indian government has also signed Paris Convention in 1998. Then India has become the PCT member in 1998. Okay. Then for deposition of the, you can say, biological material, India has signed the treaty, Budapest Treaty, and it was signed in 2001. So these are actually a few moments in the journey of the Indian Patent Act. Now you can see here, it was amended in 1999. Okay. Then it was amended in 2002. Then it was amended in 2005. Okay. Then we have the amendment which are actually brought by the government of India. Now, one thing I would like to explain here, who is the stakeholder which can amend the Indian Patent Act? It is the Parliament, okay, which can amend the Indian Patent Act. So nobody has power to amend, okay, except the Parliament of India, okay. So these are the amendments and their respective years: 1972, 2003, 2005, then 2006, 2013, and so on. Even we have so many amendments recently also. So as for the requirement, as for the national requirements, as for our interest, okay, and as for our interest in the international level, the Indian government can amend the Indian Patent Act, and as for it has been done time to time to cope with the international law, to overcome of the some situation arise in the actually say national things. Okay, so the Indian Patent Act is being amended time to time as per the requirement. Okay. Now let us say what is invention basically. So this is the Act number 21J, which specify what is the criteria for invention. The first criteria must be novelty. Okay, so anything which is created by your brain, okay, it must be novel. And what will be the things? Things may be product, things may be process, things may be any apparatus, any machinery. So three things will be there: product, process, and apparatus. And to become an invention, it must have novelty, okay, it must have the inventive state, it must have industrial application. So these three things must be satisfied by the thing which you have created. Okay, can you hear me properly?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir.
Now let us take one very simple example. Now in our daily life, we use this paper clip often. Okay, if we see this paper clip. So this very simple example, but if you think about the scope of the application where it has been used, so you can imagine what is the scope. Now the people, the person which gave it, that is John Waller in 1901. That is the US citizen, okay, John Waller. And he was given this, he gave this concept of this paperclip in 1901. And suppose how he had observed the situation at that time in 1901. He maybe he had realized that at that time, using the single pen, it's very tedious. Sometimes it's can he nail the finger also. Sometimes it very problematic to can say tag the big bunch of the paper. So what he thought at that time, that let us make one solution for this problem. And that was the background, that was the situation which actually inspired that person, then John Waller, to create this invention. Okay, so although this is the prior act, that is the needle one, okay, but he has amended these things in order to provide the better solution for the problem. So these things have this novelty. You can say this is the novel as compared to the prior act. This is the prior act, and it has the inventive state also. I will explain later on what is the inventive state. And it has the industrial application also, because these things what the paper clip is here. This has very big scope. It can be used for paper clipping at many places, in offices, in colleges, okay, in universities, even in at our houses also. So it has industrial application also. So the overall observation is that key, whenever you have any problem, basically it is a technical problem, okay, then you may be can I say encouraged to find out the solution. And if your solution is very useful one, then that solution may be granted a patent over that, okay. And the solution may not be very complex, it may be very simple, but the scope, the application is maybe very broader. So the complexity of your invention, complexity of your solution doesn't matter. It is not a criteria for granting a patent. The criteria for granting a patent is that the solution must be novel. It means the product, the process, or the machine must have the novelty. Then it must be the inventive things, and it must have the industrial application. Okay. So these are the three criteria. Now again, I will like to focus on what is the novelty. Now we have two things in novelty. One is relative novelty, another is absolute novelty. Now you have to understand these two things separately. Now, whenever you write a research paper, the first thing is that you search the existing art, existing literature thoroughly, and then you make up your mind what is the gap between the existing literature, okay. After that, you think about the solution, you think about that gaps you have observed from the existing literature, and then you come with certain solution to, can say, minimize the gap, okay, to overcome of the limitations of the existing literature. So that is called relative novelty. It means you have observed certain limitation in the existing literature, existing technology, and then you are coming with the solution for that. And that solution is in relation with the existing technology. So that is the relative one. So the novelty in that case is the relative novelty. It means you have found the gap, you have found the limitation, and you have found some addition to that one. So that is relative one. Now, sometimes what happens, you have observed certain problems in the existing technology, but you are coming with the totally different solution. There is no actually increment into the existing technology. Your solution is very unique one. So that is called the absolute novelty. Okay. So when it comes to the checking the novelty of your invention, we have certain tools. In that one, we the patent office searches the prior publication, searches the prior applications, patent application, searches the any existing literature over the internet, yeah, any literature which is available in digital form, yeah, any hard written form, okay. So whatever the things which are available in that field of your invention, that entire available thing is to be searched by the patent office. After that, the patent office is patent office makes the judgment whether your work is novel or not. So it is very similar to the review of your research paper. The reviewer review your paper whether your paper is as per the publication norm or not. Okay. In that sense, a patent office, there are so many examiners in the different fields. For example, for computer field, there are computer examiners. For electronics, there are different examiners. For mechanical, there are different examiners. For Biotechnological things, there are different examiners for plants and other things. There are different examiners for other, suppose pharmaceutical things, there are different examiners. So depending on field of your inventions, examiners deal with the review of your research, that is called examination. And the examination is performed in two broader category. One is checking the technological things, whether your invention is novel, whether your invention is having the inventive step, whether your invention is having industrial application. These are the three things which has been checked by the examiner in technological aspect. And then there is the legal aspect also, which is checked by the examiner. Okay, so whenever you get the examination report from the patent office, you have these both things. One is the technological things which are missing in your application, and another thing is that which are the legal things which are missing from your applications. Okay, now let us say how the novelty can be destroyed. As I told you, it may be prior publication, it may be prior claimants, prior patent filing, then it may be prior public knowledge. Sometimes what happen, some technological things, some foods, some medicines, some the solution which is already in public domain, public knowledge. Okay, so in that case, the novelty cannot be established. Okay, and the application may be rejected by the patent office. Then prior public working, if it has been applied in public domain, it has been worked, it is still the public domain, it is available in the public domain, people are using this one. So in that case also the novelty cannot be established and the application may be rejected by the patent office. So then let us say the inventive aspect, how we can judge the inventive aspect. Now inventive aspect means whatever the technological changes you have proposed, whether if that proposal, if you put to the a person skill in that field, having the expertise. For example, Mitra sir was discussing about this carbon dioxide deposition and these things. And suppose somebody has filed one application in that field. So if the solution is put behind the Mitra sir to judge that whether this is having something extra which is not which has not been done earlier. So if the judgment is that no, it is having some extra things, extra technological things, then this is the origination of the inventive things. Okay, so there are several mechanisms to judge the inventive step. Okay, I'm not going into detail of that, but the thing you have to understand, being an expert in that thing, can say skilled person in that field, if the invention is given to you and if you feel that there is something extra which is not being done in the prior thing, then it is the inventive thing which is present in the application. Now let us say the some indication for the inventive steps. One is the distance. Suppose you have observed the existing technology and you have proposed some increment to that. So that is the distance, how much the proposal you have which is different from the existing one, that is the distance. Then surprising effects. Suppose one medicine which is already known in the public domain, but with the combination of certain other molecule to that medicine, it's giving very surprising effect. So that is one consideration under the Patent Act for inventive step. Then there are certain things which are long felt and people can propose the patent application or technological things in that field. So that is long felt need. Failure of other research. If somebody are working in that field but not able to succeed in that, and somebody else has been succeeded in that field. That is one indication. The complexity of the work, sometimes if it is very much complex, then that is sometimes, not I'm saying always, but sometimes it is the one indication for the inventive step. Then commercial successes. Sometimes the patent office consider this, okay, if it is very cheaper, if it is very easily manufacturing, then the commercial aspect may be considered sometimes, but it is not mandatory for judging the inventive step. Then cheaper and more economical technology. This is again another criteria indication for being the inventive step in the present application. Now, industrial application is the third criteria to be judged by the patent office. Now, anything which you have proposed, you have filed for possible grant of the patent before the patent office has to judge whether your solution having the industrial application or not. Patent office cannot grant a patent over any application which is having no industrial application. Suppose at present somebody is claiming that he has invented one vehicle which can take garbage from Earth to some another planet. So at present it looks very obscure. Okay, it is since it is unfeasible type of things. Okay, so such type of things which is not feasible in the industrial for manufacturing, yeah, for production, so that cannot be considered as a, okay, say, industrial application, and the application may be granted based on that. Sorry, the application may be rejected based on that lacking of the industrial applicability. So let us quickly see that some things which are not patentable. Any things which is frivolous or contrary to well-established natural law, contrary to public order or morality. Again, anything which is contrary to the public order or morality will be rejected by the patent office. Anything which is mere discovery of a scientific principle, again, anything which is mere discovery will be rejected. Mere discovery of new form of the known substance. Anything, suppose aspirin is well known in the medical field, and somebody come with the suggestion that aspirin can be used for another treatment. So this mere discovery cannot be treated as the new invention. Then a substance often from mere admixture. Any admixture which is mere one will not be granted by the patent office. Then mere arrangement, rearrangement, a duplication of any known devices which are functioning independently. So again, such type of application will be rejected. The method of agriculture or horticulture, only method, not the operators. So any method which are used in agriculture or horticulture will be rejected. Any process for medicinal, surgical, curative, prophylactic, diagnostic, therapeutic or other treatment on animal and human being will be rejected. The process, it is not the machinery. Any things related to plants and animal will be rejected. Okay, because there is another type of protection for the plants. Okay, that is the Protection of Plant Variety and Farmer Right Act 2002. So anything which is mathematical form, business method, computer program, these are not allowed by the patent office. Okay, then anything which is literary, dramatic, musical, artistic, because these are the copyright material, will not be granted the patent. Any mere scheme or rule, method of performing mental act or method of playing game. If somebody wants to claim the patent over the yoga, will not be granted any patent, because it's simply considered as the method of performing the mental act, yeah, method of curing any disease. So playing chess, playing method of teaching, method of learning, anything related to these things will be rejected. Presentation of information will not be granted a patent. Topology of the integrated circuit, because there is a separate law for that. Any invention which is in effect to the traditional knowledge will not be granted a patent. For example, if somebody claiming that the turmeric can be used for healing the any wound, then it will be rejected by the patent office because it's traditional knowledge. Invention related to atomic energy will be rejected. Anything related to the defense purposes will be rejected, like anything, suppose missiles, these things will be rejected by the patent office because it's prohibited by the Indian government. It is prohibited by the Indian Patent Act. Then inventions related to biological materials. Okay. So any invention is based on a research on biological resources, often from the India. Applicant has to get the approval from the National Biodiversity Authority of India before the grant of patent. So the person working in the biological things, okay, must have the permission, approval from the National Biodiversity Authority of India. Okay, that is Section C of the Biodiversity Act 2002. Then any invention discloses any biological material, specifically microorganism, and if the material is not available to the public, then the biological material has to be deposited in the International Depository Authority recognized under the Budapest Treaty. Before nowadays, you can deposit the biological material to the India. Also, it is situated in the Institute of Microbial Technology, Chandigarh. So before filing a patent over any biological material, the applicant must has to deposit that biological material to any depository. Yeah, it may be available to the public domain. So before that, he cannot file the patent application. Now, typical patentable invention field of the life science and agriculture. Recombinant biopolymer, you can have the patent in that field. Product and processes based on the microbial or fermentation technology. Okay, product and processes based on tissue culture technique. Devices, instruments, machineries used for research in molecular biology, biotechnology, and diagnostic fields. The processes are not allowed, as I told you, but machineries, devices, and the products are allowed. Now, the new agrochemical, herbicides, pesticide, fungicides, herbal composition or formulation and process of their manufacture, you can apply the patent application in this field. Organic and inorganic fertilizers, micronutrient compositions, organic manures and polymer coated fertilizers and process of their manufacture. So anybody can apply patent application in this field. Biofertilizers, biopesticides, vaccines, you can have the patent in these fields. Inorganic, organic or herbal drugs, pharmaceutical for veterinary and use. These are other fields in which we can file the patent application. Process food composition, nutrient composition, and herbal composition for human and process thereof. You can file in this field also. Now let us quickly understand. I think I'm a little bit late, but let us understand. Is it okay for listener?
Okay, sir, you can continue.
Okay, let us say the patenting procedure in India. When you file a patent application, that patents application is going to be published by the government of India. There is a journal, it is available online journal, it is free of cost. So the government of India, the patent office is going to publish your application, and your application will be published within the 18 months from the date of filing. And suppose if you want to publish your application as soon as possible, then you can file your request for early publication. So there are one additional thing. If you want to expedite your application for publication, then you can file early publication request. After that, it will be published maybe within week, yeah, maybe within the month. Then after that, the applicant has to request the Government of India Patent Office for examination of the application. So unless until your application is published, you cannot request for examination of your application. Okay, so your application is published. Okay, then you have to file your request for examination. Okay, and when you file the request for examination, your application will be put into the queue for examination. And when the terms for your application comes, your application will be examined, and the can say the requirements, if any missing requirements are there in your application, it may be legal requirements, that is the formal requirements, it may be technical requirements. So based on that requirement, that review points, the first examination report will be issued by the patent office, and it will be given to you. At first instance, you have 6 months time to comply with that requirement. So these are the requirement, and you have to comply. You have to amend your application. You have to give certain justification whether novelties is there or not, if there is any question. So such type of things you have to do while responding to the first examination report. And you can avail 6 months extra time for that response also. So altogether you have 1 year period in which you can file your response to the first examination report. And if you have complied all the requirements as raised by the patent office, any offices in India, then your application will be granted, and you will be given one certificate mentioning that this is the name of the applicant, this is the title, and you have given a patent over this one, which is valid for 20 years. Okay. Now anybody can oppose the grant of the patent, which may be before the grant and after the grant. So if something has been granted unknowingly without looking extensively in the prior art, and it is already done in the existing things, it is already available in the public domain, in that case there may be a pre-grant opposition, and even there may be post-grant opposition even after the grant of the patent. So there is the opposition, and based on the opposition, patent office generally examine the case, and if it is the genuine one, then patent may be revoked from the applicant. Okay. So there is remedy. If something has been done unknowingly wrong, then there is the remedial things there in the Patent Act also. So this is the detailed procedure. I'm not going into. Okay. Now let us say who can apply. As an inventor, you can apply alone. Yeah, you can apply jointly. There is no limitations. If you want to put your colleagues, if you want to put your guide, your mentor, who have certain actually contribution to your application, then you can have the name of those persons along with your name. So there is no limitations of number of names in that application. There are two things you have to understand. One thing is that applicant name, another thing is that inventor name. Inventor name are those names, the person's name, who are actually involved in the proposal of the technical solution. Okay, so those are the inventors. But sometimes what happens, you are working under certain organization, and you have certain duty to file certain application on behalf of your organization. So in that case, your organization becomes the applicant, and inventor are those persons who are actually the inventor of that proposal, technical solution. So there are two things, applicant and inventor. Applicant may be inventor itself, no problem, but applicant may be your organization also, depending on your job condition. Okay, yeah, if you don't want to give credit to your organization, yeah, you want to file alone, you can do, there is no problem, but inventor names cannot be changed. Okay, now anybody can assign to his assigning to file the application. That is another way. Any legal representative can file the patent application, there is no problem. Now, when you file patent application, you come with the detail of your invention with the certain formalities. It means you have to file certain forms like Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 5, Form 18. These are certain formalities, and you have to file these forms. And you have to file the detailed disclosure of your invention. Just like when you write your research paper, where you give the title of your paper, then the field of your research work, then existing literature review, then brief of your research work, then detail of your research work. These all things you have to furnish into the disclosure in detail. But there is slightly difference between the filing the submitting the research paper and filing the patent application. When it comes to the filing patent application, generally the patent application disclosure is focused on the application point of view. We are not bothering about the say the analysis part. In your research paper, you have given so many analysis part. This much is approved one, this much is the efficiency one, this percentage is the better achievement. So these are not the can say sufficient thing for filing the patent application. For filing patent application, you need to disclose the application of your invention, how your application will be industrialized, how your application will be useful to the society. That part you have to focus more rather than focusing the analysis part. Now, these are the patent jurisdictions where you can file. It means 4 patent offices having its own jurisdiction. For example, head office Kolkata having the northeast and say the other part here. Delhi having Haryana, Punjab, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Rajasthan, Chandigarh, UP, Uttarakhand. Then Mumbai having these states. Then Chennai having these states. Then remaining states are attached with this Kolkata Patent Office. So we have the patent office and certain jurisdictions. And if the patents is originated from these states, then you have to file in that patent office only. Okay. Suppose you are in Delhi, then you have to file in Delhi. You are in Punjab, you have to file your application in Punjab. But if you are in Kolkata, West Bengal, Bihar, then you have to file in Kolkata Patent Office. So this is the meaning of jurisdiction. Then type of patent application, we have ordinary application, we have conventional application, then we have the national phase application, that is the PCT application. So we have 3 applications: ordinary application, conventional application, national phase application. Now in ordinary application, what happened? Suppose you want to file your application in India only, you don't want to file abroad, okay, in other country. So in Indian aspect, your application is ordinary application. Okay. Now suppose you want to file your application in any other country outside India, then in that case we have 2 categories. One is conventional application, another is PCT application. Now in conventional application, you have to file your application to that particular country. Okay. Suppose you want to file in US, you can file in Japan. So individually you can file in these countries, can say this separately. Okay. So this is the one kind of international application, that is conventional application. Now you have to understand the one very basic question is that why not you can file one application in the foreign and which is applicable to more than one country. It means there is a mechanism in which you can designate your application to more than one country into the actually outside India. So this is called international patent application, that is PCT, patent cooperation, a patent national phase application in PCT, patent cooperation treaty. So filing international application, we can go through two ways. One is conventional application. India has signed so many conventional treaty with bilateral treaty, you can say, with the different nations. So you can go individually to those nations. There is no problem. You can file at one place and your application will be designated to a different country. That is the national phase application in the PCT. You can file provisional application. We can file the complete application. Now, provisional application is that, suppose you have the idea, but you don't have the sufficient the disclosure of that. So in that case, just to protect your filing date, okay, you can file the provisional application. From that date, within 12 months, you can file the complete application, okay. Then these are the things you have to file with your application. One is Form 1, application Form 1, then complete specification on Form 2, then appropriate fee, then proof of right if it is applicable, then power of authority if it is necessary, then drawings, then abstract, then Form 3, then Form 5. These all things you have to comply, you have to file with your patent application. So in writing the complete specification, first you have to write title, then fill up on invention, then prior art, then drawbacks of the prior art, then object of the invention, then summary of the invention, then reference to the drawing, then detailed description, and then it is followed by the claims. This claim is very important part. Unless until you define the scope of your invention, what will be the scope, what will be the components, what will be the steps, what will be the configuration, okay, till the patent office will not give the protection over that, it will not grant the patent. So the claim is very crucial part in your patent application. Now, as I told you, your patent term is valid for 20 years from the date of application. This is the brief of the filing fee applicable to your invention. If you are filing individually, you can pay. If you're filing e-file, then 1,600. If you are filing, can say manually offline, then it is 1,750 rupees. Now it is valid with the certain condition up to 30 pages, can say, and up to 10 claims. Above that, you have to file. You have to pay additional things. Now, if a small entity is filed, the fee is little bit higher. If other than a small entity and individual is filed, then fee is much higher. Now, recently it has been amended by the Patent Office, Government of India, that if the academic institutions are filing patent application, then the fees is very nominal. Okay, so this is one very good thing, news for academic institutions. You make your institution as an applicant and you will be inventor in that application. Fee will be very nominal. Okay, there is no fee for Form 2. For express publication, you have to file Form 9 and you have to pay certain fee for that. And for request for application, that is Form 18, you need to file certain fee for that. So there are two fee mandatory. One is Form 1 fee, another is Form 18. Okay, and apart from Form 8, Form 9 is optional. If you want to publish your application very soon, then you have to file Form 9. Otherwise, there is no need. It will be in the same course as the normal application. Your application will be published after your request for application examination will be applicable, and then your application will be examined. I'm not going into detail of this one. As I told you, Patent Cooperation Treaty, it is the international umbrella through which you can file your application in different country at the same time. One application can be designated to different country. But when you are following the conventional way, you can file your application in one country. If you want to file in another country separately, you have to file for that. But under the PCT umbrella, you can file one application that will be designated to the different country. So this is the international umbrella under which you can file in different country. Let us take some example. Patent and its success. This is very actually famous cane. Most of us will be using this one when you want to drink any cold drink, okay, yeah, any type of drink. So this thing, this type of cane is there, okay. Now, when it was granted a patent, if you recall, when you have this type of cane, in order to drink the that pay, you have to open that cane, and then you will be able to drink that one, okay. So when it was there was a patent granted for that this mechanism how to open the cane, okay, and that was called a ring pulley cane, okay. So at that period, when it was enforced, the inventor licensed this ring pull cane to the Coca-Cola company with the 1 of 10 penny. It means if there are 10 penny sell by the Coca-Cola company, then 1 penny will be given to the inventor, okay. So during that validity of this ring pull cane, inventor received 148,000 UK pounds per day on royalty. So you can imagine how much royalty the inventor had got at that time, okay. So this is the actually say the benefit of your invention, okay. Now another example I can give you in Amati communication case. This is one US based company. The Texas Instrument paid US $395 million to acquire a very small computer company, that is the Amati Communication. The reason was that this Amati Communication was having so many key patents, okay. So this was the reason the Texas Instrument paid this huge amount to this company Amati Communication. So this is the actually see the benefit of your patent, okay. So these are the references from the Patent Office and Design Wing, Government of India, the Patent Office journals, then e-contents available on the website, then different patent offices available on the internet, okay. So these are the references I have taken. Now this is all about my presentation today. I would like to answer any question from your side.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful presentation. We have few questions from participants. Venkata Subramaniam Ganapati, sir, want to know, do universities or colleges own IPR?
Do please repeat question. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Do universities or colleges own IPR?
One thing, see, if your question is that, suppose you are working in any university, and if you want to file your patent application, that is the intellectual property right thing, then there are two things. You can file your application through your university, making your university as an applicant, okay. One thing, you can file your application directly being inventor and being applicant. In first case, when your application is filed and your university is become the applicant, the right goes to the university. And if you are filing the patent on your own name as applicant and inventor, then right will be with you. Okay, so this is one difference. And I don't know, please explain your question. I'm not still able to find understand what you want to ask.
So
Ganapati
good
sir?
afternoon, sir. Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon.
Suppose that is a for quality education, better achievement. Some organization, educational organization or institution or colleges awarded a special heritage status and a school of excellence like that. Is it possible to get a IP?
Sir, as I told you, certain fields are actually prohibited. Actually, see, in certain field, we cannot file the patent applications, like how to teach, how to learn, any such type things I explain you in the slide. So some fields are not allowed to file the patent application. You have to understand. Okay.
Sir.
Apart from other these prohibited things, if you have anything, you can file your patent application, sir.
Like a college is simple and a university is simple like that, sir.
Yes, sir. Please repeat your.
College is simple, sir. University is simple.
My college.
College is simple or university is simple. Kolkata University, simple is the logo like that.
Acha, logo. Yes, yes. See, university logo, yeah, college logo, you can file the trademark registry, yeah, service mark.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank
You cannot file the patent application because it's not the technical actually idea behind the technical solution. Although it is the intellectual property, but you can go for the service mark trademark registry.
But research done by the student. So while doing the that is program that is like a PhD and field. Okay, he actually suppose he completed. Shall we get to the IPR, the organization?
Yes, yes. See, the
This
program
organization is an applicant and student is the inventor, like that.
Sir, as I told you, the inventor means the contributors. Your scholar may be a contributor, you may be contributor, other people may be contributor. The meaning is that the persons, whoever contributed to that work, those will be inventors. Now, the another question is that who will be the applicant? The applicant may be inventors itself, no problem, themselves, no problem. And in case suppose you have certain commitment to your organization, like that you have to make your university institution applicant, in that case the inventor will be the same, no problem, no change in that. The university or college will be the applicant. Is it clear to sir?
Yeah, very clear, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Sir, another question. Who controls IPR in India?
It is the Controller General of Patent Design and Trademark.
Okay, sir. Sir, next question. Sir, can a person's name be patented or placed under intellectual rights? Can a person's name?
No. It will be not be patented as a patent. It will be protected as service logo or trademark only.
Person's name, sir.
Yes. No problem in that.
Okay. Sir, if we wish to patent
One thing, see, please, let me explain a little bit more. Suppose one person name you want to register. The meaning is that the registry doesn't mean that when you file application, it will be registered. Yeah, it will be granted without judgment. Okay. The thing is that you have to understand it will be searched by the patent office, and if it is satisfying all the criteria, then your application will be granted. Yeah, your application will be registered. And in case of, suppose you want to make your name as a service mark, if you want to open any company based on your name, then you can go for that. It will be trademark, yeah, it will be service mark. It will be not patent. It may be design also, no problem in that.
Okay, sir.
I,
Last question, sir. Sir, if we wish to patent something, can we take your assistance, not question, request from our faculty members?
sure. I am always happy to assist anybody.
Sir, what will be the procedure?
See, whenever you have some research paper, okay, just let me know, and I will just assist you how to draft the patent application.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Sir, actually, we are having some college logo. So how can we proceed to register in the trademark or the service book registry? How can be done? How to proceed that one?
You just make the photographs. 3 photographs are necessary. Okay.
Okay.
So see, when you access the website of Government of India, okay, there is a detailed procedure given and some forms you have to file.
Okay.
And you can go for, see, first you have to understand for what purpose you want to go for protection, whether it is the service, yeah, whether it is the identification. Okay, so you can go for the trademark also and service mark also. Okay, and that will be the protected by the trademark registry.
Sir, what is the website, sir?
ipindia.nic.in.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
No more questions, sir. Thank you for sharing your time and experiences with us, and we hope you will join us again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now I would like to request our convener, Dr. Shubharti Sarkar, to give the vote of thanks. Over to you, Shubharti Sarkar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chandana Singh. So very good afternoon, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to get this opportunity to thank all the stakeholders for their unconditional support and cooperation that has led to the smooth and successful organization of this webinar. So one second. So am I visible and audible properly? Because I would
Yes.
like to. Okay, thank you. Because some information, some important information will be shared right now. So first of all, I would like to share some important information about the delivery of the certificates of participation to all the participants. Please take a note that a feedback form will be shared with you right away. Here in the chat box, it is already shared, and we will also share it via your registered email IDs. And all the participants who will submit the feedback forms shall be provided with the certificates in 15 days in their registered email ID. So it has been a great honor to be a part of this wonderful event as a convener. And on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to our esteemed resource persons, Professor Abhijit Mitra and Professor Premnath, who, despite being occupied with numerous academic and administrative duties, have spared their time for us and have enriched us with their knowledge, experience through their wonderful and engaging deliberations. I would like to extend my heartiest thanks to all the respected faculty members, teachers, students, researchers, and everyone who have participated in this webinar and for making this a wonderful and for making this a wonderful interactive learning session. I would like to sincerely thank our principal, sir, Professor Amitabh Basu, Chairperson R&D Cell, for his vision, constant inspiration, motivation, and unbounded and unconditional support in each and every manner possible for every event held in our college. I would like to extend sincere gratitude to all the members of the organizing committee of this webinar, with thanks to the IQAC coordinator, Dr. Sudipta Das, and PCS Teacher Council Secretary, Dr. Arnav Ganguly. Advisory committee members, Dr. Sanjeev Pandey, sir, Dr. Malay Kumar Ghurul, sir, Dr. Parimal Ghosh, sir, Dr. Kaushik Mukherjee, sir, I would like to thank so much for your wonderful advices at each and every stage of the organization of this webinar. Organizing secretaries, I would like to thank Dr. Vinita Datta, Dr. Sri Radhashi Das, and everybody. And the one of our key players and the dynamic Dr. Mandal is unwell today, and we would like to pray to the God for his speedy recovery. Hope he recovers very soon, and our prayers are with him and his families. So I would like to thank Dr. Chandana Shingo, Dr. Kia, Dr. Rajrupa Ghosh for hosting and anchoring this event wonderfully. I would like to thank Dr. Shondip Chatterjee, Ambalika Vishwas, Dr. Ambalika Vishwas, Dr. Abhik Ghosh for press brief for publicity and press briefing. Special thanks to all the non-teaching staffs of our college and of the office and of the technical staff of our college. Hope we, with the God's grace and with all of you and with each and every one of your support, we may be able to hold similar such webinars and conferences in the future. Thank you all for joining this event and making this wonderful and successful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shubharti. Now we have come to the end of this webinar. We would like to know what you thought of this webinar, and therefore we would like to ask you to fill feedback form so that we can improve our webinars in the future. You can watch it again from our college YouTube channel, or must share it with someone who might be interested. And our next webinar on open source software will be held on second week of August. Hope in offline mode. Hope you will all join our upcoming program also. Thank you for your attention and see you soon again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.